Greetings, dear Aries. This one's for you. This is you, Aries. This is your July 2017 general reading from Tarot Lumination. Thank you for visiting. You've probably done this before many times with other channels and whatever. Please read for your sun and your moon and your rising. Squish it all together. And hopefully this reading, if it sounds like gobbledygook, then it might make more sense combined with the others. So, Aries, you're one of the cardinal signs. So you're going to be strongly affected by this big fat cardinal T-square that's still going on. Um, so there's kind of no way out of it. It affects uh, on the relationship axes, so to speak. I've got some notes here. You see right here, there's little Aries, and there's Libra in the 7th house of relationship, and there's all this Cancer energy right now down here in your 4th house, and it's opposed over here by Pluto up in your 10th. So you're going to be stretched and pulled in all these directions, like, how am I supposed to handle my primary relationships? How am I supposed to be me at the same time accounting for all the significant others in my life? How do I do that? Because it seems to be affecting me profoundly in my home, which is affecting the way I feel as though I could play out in the world at large. And all that stuff is happening simultaneously. Not only that, you've got the full moon on the 9th of July, which is going to really amplify this because the moon's going to be up there in Capricorn, opposing the sun down in the foundations of your house in Cancer. So it'll be like questions, 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 like what's going on in my home life and my family, in contrast with my potential careers and my place in this world. I don't get it. I don't get it. What's happening? Well, maybe the moon up there is going to expose things a little bit that need to be exposed, whatever that might be. And also, later in the month, you've got all this energy, Mars, Mercury, Sun, and Moon, all piling up into Leo, your 5th house, which is very much about love, romance, creativity, your creative self-expression, all of that Leo type energy, shining bright, passion, fun, expression, like just being happy, being very, very expressive, perhaps in the arts, or just like um, shining brightly in who you are and what you do. But that's going to happen in your 5th house. So you're going to probably feel new beginnings there, new like sparks, new things lighting up in ways that you might have never known before, that have been lying dormant, and now it's about time they came into the light. So that's going to happen, but that's going to be late in the month, okay? Right now, we're kind of diving straight in, okay? So let's just do it. Let's cut the card. Let's roll. This is not astrology. That was just background. I have to do it anyway for my own edification. And it helps me to give hopefully a slightly better reading. I mean, I like to go blind, but sometimes I like to have a bit of like the data. I like to have some raw data to play with as well. So here's the general vibe for you, dear Aries. Is that 2 cards? No, it's 1. Here's the general vibe. Here's where you're coming from into the month, coming out of June. Here's where you are in the ever-present now through the month, and then moving forward through the month. This is like where you're at the point in your journey where you are now aware that you're in a new frequency and a new vibration, and you're diving into it. Okay, so in doing so, what's the healthiest and safest way to do that, and the most useful and productive and smart and wise way to do that? And in doing so, let's say you're really, really good at understanding the laws of attraction. You know that you are really very much a part of manifesting your own destiny, then you would attract this yourself. Otherwise, it might feel that this is just energy, like fated energy that's landing in your lap. Either way, it's there. And as you move forward, facing into a journey, you know that, you hope for the best, but you plan for the worst. You kind of have to, even if you're just going to the grocery store. You don't know if some whack job is going to come around the corner and like uh, ding your car on the side. You don't know that. And so you hope for the best, but you allow for the worst. And deep down anyway, you have to be prepared, or keep your antennas up. And where does that lead us? Okay, Aries, we're going to get through this just fine. All right. So, Aries, it's also like uh, a lot of people like to know like the general like surrounding weather. I like to do that, so I provide that. And it's not necessarily your energy, it's just like a vibration, like a feeling, like it's in the air, like, oh, like you look outside the front door and it's just like, oh yeah, I can feel a thunderstorm coming. Oh, I can see that it's going to be bright and sunny tomorrow. Or oh my god, I can tell it's going to get really cold and snowy. Blah blah, whatever it is, it's just weather, and you make the best of it. So you have the little Queen of Swords here, which some people call the divorce card. Oh no, some people call it, it's just like a truth card. It's a truth, it's a reckoning card. It's also the card of an energy. Just so that you know, by the way, Aries, Tarot Illumination has an audience spread of about 82% female, whatever it is, 18% male. I just discovered that recently. I'm trying to learn about how all this stuff works through the YouTube phenomenon. And Tarot Illumination is still very young, but in general, it's mostly female who watch the channel for their edification and evolution. And I say bravo, because I keep wondering, why don't all the guys watch too? Because you would think they'd want to be interested in their own evolution, but apparently not. Not so much anyway. Sorry guys, I know there's a few guys who watch, but it's a very heavily dominant female audience. So this is the energy of like female energy making like cold, calculated, pure, truthful decisions to honor the self. Uh, and the energy in the environment is very conducive to coming into your own truth, so to speak, regardless of the consequences. It's putting yourself, like literally Aries energy, putting yourself first, shamelessly, utterly shamelessly, and allowing everyone else to deal with the consequences of you being you, okay? Because you have to deal with the consequences of everyone else being themselves, okay? It's very, very evident here, especially played out here, where you're being stretched to the limit in understanding how your primary relationships are working. How do I maintain my true identity and at the same time allow that there are others in my life? It is a juggling match how to do that, because it affects your home and family, the foundations of your life, which also affects indirectly your career, your placement in this world, your mission, your purpose, why you're here. And so that's all happening at once, and the weather conditions are indicating that you are going to make sure that you honor yourself first and foremost. And it's like, I'm sorry, everybody else. If you can't handle that, that's your problem. Sorry, I'm going to live my life. Excuse me. Bye. So I'm trying to make light of it, okay? Tarot Illumination, legally speaking, is here for entertainment purposes only. I can't tell you the future, all right? We don't do that. What's the general vibe, okay? Look, look, dear Aries, it's just like coming to terms with reality, having a really, really like a solid sense of like, my God, things actually might be working. Once you make this decision to honor yourself absolutely, not in any way that's like selfish or mean or egomaniacal or narcissistic. No, this is just truthfully honoring and respecting yourself, your true identity, your true unique self, your independence, and your desire to stay that way and be that way and live in your own truth, not anyone else's truth, your truth. So in doing so, taking advantage of the prevailing energy, you get to do that in a way that is very methodical. It's just like, finally, now I get the chance to systematically, one step at a time, in a very responsible, self-loving, self-caring way that works for me, I get to move forward through July in such a way that by taking care of myself first and properly, I can like bring in the harvest, so to speak, uh, in a way that works for others too. This is very, very kind, generous, um, slow-moving type of, like, very trustable, very, very trustworthy, excuse me, very trustworthy, very reliable energy. So the general vibe for you, Aries, might be that you're tapping into your most honorable self by making the decision, the determination to be your true self. You tap into the solid foundations of yourself, which are very, very noble, very, very well intended, and let's just say valuable. Okay? Tapping into your true worth, your true value to yourself, which is the best way of serving others. Okay? Serving humanity, bringing home. It's like being a really, really good farmer. In other words, tuning into the idea that I'm going to nurture myself, farm myself like a very responsible farmer, and in so doing, bring about my own manifestation, which is actually abundance. It's the energy of abundance. That's what farmers do. They grow so much that it's way more than that they need so that they can provide for others. It's beautiful, beautiful energy, Aries. So bravo. Coming in with that, where are you coming from for all this time? Okay, so Aries, for quite some time, you might have been wrestling with a lot of things that really just honestly didn't make sense. And it's not surprising with this massive, massive grand T square that's been going on, grand cross, because it's been going on for a long time. Okay, it's been brutal. You're a cardinal sign. You have been subject to this massive energy here, which is in some ways extremely stressful. But if you can handle it and you continue to face it, it brings about massive evolutionary growth. But it's very clear from the reading already that you're handling it and you're determined to handle it and make it work for you in a way that's very stabilizing and good. It just means, however, that it might have been a very scary, weird, and trippy, frightening, confusing road to get here. Okay, that's understandable given the amount of pressure you've had to endure. And you might have been doing this very, very gracefully, Aries. So other people don't know how much torment you've had to endure. You might have been conducting yourself in a very, very typically Aryan manner where I am not going to be defeated. Nothing will defeat me. I make my decisions, I act, I do what I have to do now because I know I'm right and that's it. And yet, deep down inside, you might have been really, really wobbly and full of self doubt, but you've been strong enough to get through and come into July determined anyway. And so, if this energy is like right on uh, if like it's very really evident, it's right in your lap right now that you're dealing with this, it's understandable. It could also imply that you're coming into the month knowing that you still have more stuff to go through that could be daunting, maybe frightening, maybe challenging, but you also know that you're going to handle it because the prevailing conditions are very supportive for you to maintain and create your own unique identity and independence, regardless of anyone else's opinions, okay? You're not going to be defeated, okay? So you might be coming into the month with this energy, the moon energy of feeling a little bit, whoa, oh, what's going on? Oh, I've just been through all of this. Am I going to have to face more of this? Well, let's see what happens, okay? Because here we are in the ever present now. We have the little Five of Swords, okay? So right now, these two might be very, very closely connected together, where you're coming into the month realizing that even though you've come through so much already, there's still a lot that has to be endured, okay? Because we're living through it right now. That little chart thing that I showed you, it's happening right now, especially around the full moon. You're going to feel it because it's going to be hard squares. All that Capricorn Cancer energy is going to be hard squaring your sun energy, okay? Or your Aries rising energy or your Aries moon energy, whichever reading this is for you. Remember, I'm supposed to tell you to watch for your sun, moon, and rising. So it could be any one of those. Aries, sun, moon, or rising. So in the ever-present now, moving through July, uh, in your determination to be your authentic self, you might be living through what appears to be your uh, ongoing present moment, the eternal now, through this month of experiencing a lot of like internal futile conflict, okay, where this is you battling yourself. And that's okay. That could be part of the process of coming into your individuation, so to speak, okay, where you are still fighting your shadows, fighting the internal demons. And you might be, it's like lashing out at shadows, like in the dark, like going shoo, 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 shoo. I know you're there. I know you're trying to defeat me. I can't see you. I don't know what you are, who you are, what you're doing, but we're going to take care of that. We're going to do it. But with the energy of futile battle here, um, it might be good to have an awareness, like as you live through the experience, that oh my God, I'm just fighting my own shadows. Oh, oh. In other words, maybe everything actually is okay, and you're just experiencing like paranoia and self-doubt and stuff as you grow and evolve. In other words, now that you've made the determination to be the fully um, self-determining self, you're exposing everything that's like a blockage to that process. And sometimes that can be your own internal uh, battles, so to speak. And actually, you could also translate into battles with others just in case your own energy is being reflected back to you from others in such a way that it feels like conflict. In other words, if you are projecting your own internal conflicts outwards and you're receiving conflict from outside, then that could be this kind of energy too. So, going through the month of July, you might be feeling this energy of like butting heads, either with yourself or your environment or your significant others. Hopefully, not in really uh, turbulent ways, but in ways that you can at least feel them intellectually in your own mind, in how your own internal um, processes can be self-defeating, okay, as reflected by your significant relationships, as the process is reflected by your home environment and your career environment. So there's a lot of stuff to resolve here still, okay? Moving forward, okay, look, oh my God, dear Aries, either whether you know it or not, or whether you've wished for this or not, it's like, in other words, by being willing, let's say you've made these epic decisions to take advantage of your circumstances to, let's say, stabilize things for yourself, and being willing to go through this initiation process, this hazing process of going through the dark, shadowy parts of yourself where you can see how you can create your own internal wars that are ultimately futile and self-defeating. In other words, by the realization of this, how you can be the cause of your own demise, so to speak. That can be very, very liberating. I'm not saying we've solved it all yet, but it allows this to occur. It allows for the Ace of Cups to just literally kind of like moving forward into your life. This is what comes to you right now, very early on in the month, where you get, or let's just say maybe around the full moon, where you realize that, oh my God, this is real. This is possible. This is out there. This is like big love. This is the real thing. By, how can I explain this? By taking full responsibility for yourself, being willing to go through any nightmares or any kind of like fears and shadows and internal demons that need to be wrestled and fought down, and understanding that it's just all being an internal battle and that you will get over it, you will prevail. Facing now properly full on into July, the door is now open for true love to appear. Real, genuine uh, love in the fullest sense. I'm not saying this is not a love reading, okay? I'm just saying the energy of love, the healing power of love, the energy of heaven to enter into your life. Now, the thing is, if you're still wrapped up in all this self-defeating behavior, then it's very easy for this card to just go and be gone, and you miss the whole thing. If you get so wrapped up in all of this, then this will just be ugh. So you need to understand that this is a card of sacred opportunity, and it's like a gift from heaven, like somebody or something landing, arriving in your life for real, and you become very apparent and aware of that. It's up to you uh, to grab that, to own it, to keep it, to have it, because you deserve it. You probably deserve it more than anybody, because Aries, you've been getting pounded almost as much as Cancer and Capricorn, sometimes as Libra too, but you're one of the cardinal signs, and it's been in some ways very, very jolting for you, because you've got that Uranus and Aries sitting right there in your house of self. So it's almost like these shock waves of evolution. It doesn't, in other words, your evolution has not been happening in a smooth, gentle manner, which is what's going to happen through July. Instead, the long-term history of your evolution for the last few years has been jolting. But now, at least through July, you have a chance to accept real big love in your life, in your world, um, on your willingness and decision to accept it and allow it and receive it. Okay. So moving forward, how best to do that? Because it's really challenging. This energy here is very challenging. So how do you do that? You honor the highest code inside of yourself. In other words, let's just like get real here. I'm going to be my true self, and I'm going to live up to it. Okay. Um, it's like understanding that there is a higher code, there is a higher authority out there that's above and beyond the ego self. These are like uh, the uh, the codes of life that stabilize everything. Like like in religious terms, Christians like to have this thing called the Ten Commandments, how to live your life effectively. It's full of don't do this, not that, which doesn't make any sense to me personally, but it is a code, a way of being. So in order to move forward, it's almost like a good thing to do might be to completely rewrite the code of your life to allow for this big love type of energy, instead of being constantly locked up and swept up in this fear, shadow, paranoia, internal conflict that goes nowhere. It's just a perpetual loop of going nowhere. If you want to manifest things properly in an orderly, gentle manner, we're going to do that by allowing the love energy that's out there for you to be received. It's sometimes it's extremely hard for people to receive love. They might love to give love and be generous, but actually receiving it and accepting it, that's a whole other thing. Because honestly, the energy of love can be very disruptive in people's lives. If you're not used to it at this level, it can be very disruptive. But if you create a code, something like this, I've done this many times before, and I'm just going to reinterpret just for the convenience of this little reading. If you create a code that goes like this, regarding the energy of love, okay, rebuilding the foundations of your life in a way that's very stabilizing, so you don't have to deal with this goop anymore, you can create a new code, perhaps something like this. I am worthy. Let's do it like this. Let's pretend my voice is this code, this authority here, the ultimate authority, okay? And it's not a guy, it's just energy. And they're saying, here's how you do it, dear Aries. You do it like this. In order to own this Ace of Cups, you say it to yourself, just like you're reciting a prayer, a new code of life. I am worthy. I am deserving. I am open to receive. I am ready, I am willing, I am able to receive. And you could add it and build on it even more. I am worthy, I am deserving, I am open to receive this love. I am ready, I am willing, I am able to receive this love. Okay, so that's possibly a good way to move forward through the month. And where does that lead you? Okay, it means putting down your burdens. Okay, it might mean that you've had enough and you know it, and the only way to move on is to accept it. And all of this, all of this energy of futility, it might have just broken your back, because you might have been putting tremendous effort into your life, into your world, to maintain a way of being that is essentially futile and obsolete and full of shadows and misunderstandings. That's no longer appropriate. It's no longer healthy. And the best and smartest thing to do is just to admit it and put it all down. Just give up. Okay? Tune into this stuff and just put down all the heavy burdens that don't really belong in your life, in your world anymore. Okay, it's all right. It's over. You don't have to carry this anymore. That's the beautiful thing about self-healing and accepting the healing power of love into your life. It's like a magic balm. It's like a healing fluid. It goes where it has to go and does what it has to do. It's like WD-40. It's like that universal lubricant. It just fixes everything, okay? Just by willingly and deliberately and invoking the energy of heaven into your life. It's like finally you can say to yourself, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm going to put down everything that doesn't work and be really, really honest with myself and evaluate what doesn't work, and I'm going to set it down and put it aside. And so, what were you hoping for? What are you wishing for moving through the month, assuming you're going to keep your act together, okay? And it's being done with best of intentions. Look, dear Aries, okay, some people, I don't want to turn this into a love reading, but some people think of this as the marriage card or the engagement card. But let's just say that you're falling in love with yourself. Love you first. Love you. Aries, above all else, you're almost kind of the expert at putting yourself first. However, with all these brutal, grueling challenges for so long, you might have forgotten how to do that. And so in July, you're going to have a chance to do that, because you're going to get a very vivid display of what is not working and what doesn't work anymore. So you can understand what it is, so you can put it all down. And in so doing, you can celebrate like having love in your life. It's almost like getting married to yourself, embracing yourself, falling in love with yourself. And in so doing, it allows you to be very loving and very, very celebratory of this love energy coming into your life. And that others start to smell it on you. It's almost like, what the heck is happening to Aries? What are they doing? What's going on with them? They've been like this and this for so long. It's all we know. This is all we know about Aries. And all of a sudden they're like getting fired up. You know what? I want to be a real Aries. I'm not going to weep. I'm no longer willing to be this self-compromised, self-defeating, confused, delusional Aries. No. I'm done with that. I'm going to take advantage of the prevailing conditions, and I'm going to be my true self. Screw that. Screw you. Screw everybody else. I'm going to be me. All right? All right? That means I am now going to fall in love with myself. I'm going to accept all the love in my life, that's the real stuff that's out there that I really deserve, and all the fake stuff, be gone. Done with it. And I'm no longer going to be married and in love to all my demons and shadows, and identify with all of that stuff so much that it's my identity. It's my whole life, my whole world. No, unacceptable. What counts is this. This is the real deal. This is the real thing. This is what everybody wants in the end. And now is my chance, and I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to get it, and I'm going to own it. Okay? And we're going to party. All right? And it might be your own internal private party, and that's fine. But if other people notice it and you want to share that new version of you with others, great, go for it. That's what you're hoping for. If that's what you're hoping for, let's hold on for that. Let's pray for that. That Aries, you get that. But it's basically inevitable. It's just a question of making a decision to accept this big love, okay? And doing that because you've been so self-defeating in the past, okay? So you're having to invoke the healing power of love by your determination, okay, to do that, okay? So, obviously it would be scary if this didn't happen, but this good stuff is going to happen, okay? It's You've already made the decision that this is going to happen, even though it might have to mean letting go of all the shadows and self-undoing that you've grown to love over so long. Where does that lead things? Yeah, oh God. Aries, you're freaking lucky, man. So it allows you to completely reformat and reboot your life according to the way it should be, the way it should have been all along. But of course, the reason we come onto this earth, this planet, is to grow and evolve. I mean, if you were already fully redeemed and reconciled with all of your demons, there's no point in being here. You'd still be up in heaven, like getting ready to reincarnate in another life, not this one. But you're living in this life right here, right now. And in July, you've got this amazing chance for almost like a complete rebirth. Okay? It's absolutely wonderful. No matter um, no matter what way you look at it. Yeah, okay. It is a question of admitting parts of yourself that you may not be proud of, and but you'll get over it because you're going to really like and enjoy the new version of yourself, the reconciled version, because whatever was going wrong in the past, people are going to forgive. They're not going to hold on to it. Like as you take advantage of the situation to become the real you, even if it becomes very disruptive for your existing world, so to speak, it's ultimately for everybody's good. It's, what is ultimately the most loving and best thing for you, dear Aries, is the best thing for everybody else. And the best thing for you, dear Aries, is a complete reboot, recalibration, brand new you, okay? By your determination, okay? So there you go. That's all I got for you. I hope you get something out of this. I hope it makes some kind of sense to you, dear Aries, and that you make the best of your July. August is coming up soon. That's going to be really fun for you. Really seriously good fun. So again, read for your sun, moon, and rising. Thank you for visiting Tarot Illumination. It's a pleasure to have you here. Um, Happy 4th of July if you're in the United States. Happy July for the rest of the world, wherever you are. Bye-bye.